welcome to The Old School, a podcast about the American education system, about its character traits, its qualities, its imperfections, its gross derelictions, and a host of other things. And maybe, if we think very hard, maybe some solutions. And with that, and in my efforts, I shall be joined by Herr Dr. Bourgeois. Good day to you, Dr. Bourgeois.
Good day, Herr Miller. I'm excited to talk to you because the time is ticking away, if you know what I mean.
Like?
Not well, yeah, for all of us as we hit a certain age.
It comes to us all.
It does. Nobody gets out alive, they say. But I was thinking about you specifically, not me. I'm trying to deflect any thoughts of that.
You're saying I'm about to die.
Well, I don't know what they call you when you're no longer a teacher. There's got to be a name for it.
Has been.
Yeah, pretty much. As soon as that bell rings, nobody's going to want to even talk to you anymore. A lot of teachers are just like students, they'll hang around, come back the next year and just be part of the scenery, and what's he doing?
They call the winners the Crimson Tide. I don't know what they call the rest of us.
Well,
is that a great Steely Dan song for all the Steely Dan folks fans out there?
Well, I'm just sure that you're going to become a substitute next year. Why are you laughing?
I can't imagine something more distasteful and horrible. If I was going to do that, I would just stay a teacher. Well, I mean, why the hell would you retire and then go back to a situation where you had more control to one where you have almost no control?
I'm not recommending it.
You're just seen as part of the furniture by the students. They give no thought to you whatsoever.
Yeah, it's really humbling. Some of us needed that. I took like 3 years of humbling before I got my full-time position, and it's a wonder I taught a day after that. I didn't like it, and I'm a man like you probably wouldn't like it either, because you would want to get up to that chalkboard and start teaching.
There's been a couple of times when I have filled in for friends who had to leave early or show up late or what have you. And every time I pop in and I tell them what they need to do and they start doing it, it seems like every time I talk after that, you could see the looks of confusion on their faces. Like, is he going to talk to us now? What's that? I don't understand. How long is he going to go? I mean, doesn't he know he just leaves us alone at this point? So I don't know. I couldn't imagine putting up with that as a substitute. I barely withstood it as someone filling in for a friend because, well, I'm filling in for a friend. But no way, no how.
So you'll never walk into another school again?
Well, I don't want to necessarily say that, because, there could be a chance that I might darken the hallways of, say, some private school who just needs a pro from Dover a couple hours at the beginning of the day. They need somebody like that. Or if I were to find myself working at like a community college or university, I could see doing a couple classes here and there just to keep my head in the game, as it were. I could see that happening, although it wouldn't be my preference, but I could see it happening.
Okay.
They say never say never. So
that's right. So what are you going through now? I'm going to press a little bit because you're trying to blithely go down this podcast without really telling us what's going on inside. You're about to be teaching for I guess you have what, two weeks and maybe 3 days if you decide to stay the last week.
Well, right now I'm going through the 12 stages of grief, and so it's
12. There were quite a few less than that. You have 12.
Well, it takes a lot to get through all this, but
you have denial, fear, anxiety, and about 8 more.
A lot of grief. Just
okay. It's a lot of grief. So it is weighing on you, it sounds like.
It is, but it's not. I think what's interesting is that, and we may have talked about it before, but I think one of the most interesting concepts is how people respond to me I think as soon as they find that I'm retiring, or they may know, or what have you, but um, I think they are. I think they project onto me what they think they'll go through, and for me, that's not necessarily the case. I will tell you, outside of the students, which you would think would be a big, really big part of teaching, is the students, but as it turns out, it's not really. I
It's
think
not?
beyond the beyond the not even the students as a whole, but just the banter, the kind of the in some cases camaraderie to kind of go through a school year together to try to reach a kind of similar goal. I think there's something about that I find very satisfying, but I think it is also something that is increasingly not the majority of your time. I mean, yes, you have it, and yes, it's something that's with you every day. But I think it's also just one part of it. And so for me, I'll miss that, but I can't really say that I'll miss anything else. And the thing, the other thing here is that, once I leave, I'm not a very nostalgic individual.
No,
And
not
so
at
I
all.
will not, I don't feel the need to relive something. I don't feel the need to kind of keep something burning bright that needs to go away. And so I imagine when I retire, I mean, who knows what happens? I mean, as it happens, the day I retire, the day that I leave, I'll be on a plane to Geneva. But,
You're
but,
working for the government? Is that what this is?
but, but I don't think I will have right now. I think it'll just be relief. What'll be interesting is in August. When the seasons turn once more to the hopeful beginnings of a new school year. But I can't even at this point. I can't even imagine being too terribly forlorn for my old days.
Well, we keep leading into these dead ends, so you're not really thinking about students. I thought you were going to make a speech and say it's really about the students. I'd like to thank the students, um, but no, you don't give them a thought at all.
Well, I did say that they are the one thing I'm going to miss.
You are going to miss them.
Yes, I said
Okay.
that.
Well, it sounded like you weren't going to remember it. That
Apparently,
you
you're
were.
not listening to the show as we do the show.
I usually don't. I'm just sort of reading a book on another screen usually. But
You're like the Dean Martin of the podcast, just sitting there with like a shot of whiskey and stuff like that, and just occasionally,
it's too early in
you
the day
pop
here,
in a
Miller.
witty remark and drift back into the background
Well, the years pass by.
with great
Last time,
regularity. So,
well, yeah, and then suddenly there's change. But I was at a party celebrating the life of my predecessor, who taught German at a school in Texas where I had my first full-time job, and this was almost 30 years ago. And I do remember that he retired and I took his position. And so he had almost 30 years and he passed away. Another teacher was there who retired at the same time.
hmm.
And so the time of my career there, is that 30 years? My math is probably bad, but it was 1994. So you tell me how many years that is here, Miller.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're going on 30 years. So,
Yeah. So and I taught before that actually. So I've been at it a while. Um, but and it's like you start another episode and it could be another career, God willing, as far as years and time. So you have a opportunity for another chapter.
well, I think, yeah, I certainly have time for another chapter, but I think also I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, first of all, can I say your mentor's name?
Sure.
Jerry Liepert, who both he and you left when y'all left the teaching profession. Y'all both left remarkably um, detailed and multi-layered legacies behind you. I mean, for him as a World War II veteran, he was able to see past the emotions of being a World War II vet to see that American teenagers and German teenagers had a lot to teach one another. And he left a legacy of touching the lives of people on both sides of the Atlantic for decades.
Hmm.
And I mean, between German, between music, between tennis, between all the multiple layers of your career, I mean, you too have also reached untold, and the exchange. I mean, untold thousands upon thousands of people on both sides of the Atlantic. And so I think the more you are knee deep in it, I think the bigger the legacy is, but also maybe the harder it is to kind of step away. I mean, for me, for better or for worse, I was just kind of like in this one little role, and I guess I had some impact, um, but I wasn't leaving as much as what you left or what Jerry Liepert left or others who I've taught with or came before me. So I think maybe that helps, perhaps on some level.
It's a tough question because some of that is very public and memorable. Um, but I mean, you probably had more students than I did over the years. I know you did,
Mm.
because my classes tended to be relatively small. So it's hard to compare. But I think that the students you do have even today would say that you're a bit different than the others in a good way, as far as the way that you treat them like grown-ups, for one.
Right. Yeah, it is something when I have heard back from students, a lot of times it, some of the comments does center around that, the fact that you know, I did not talk down to them. I assumed that they, like adults, would take an adult approach to things. And, I've been very fortunate. I have, in the beginning and middle of my career, I had no expectation of the notion of like notes from students or whatever the case may be. But I've been very fortunate, especially since my current position. I've been very fortunate to have students uh, that have reached out and kind of remarked about it. And so that does make me feel good. I mean, it's a way that I've chosen to raise my daughter. I don't talk down to her. I expect her to try to rise to the occasion, as it were. Um, so yeah, maybe some of that sticks.
I think it does. Your daughter has the vocabulary of a Ivy League freshman already. And
I
you used
might
to
be
joke.
overselling it just a bit, but
Well, no, you used to joke about that even before she was a twinkle in your eye. You had a vision of a child who said, "Hello, father. What shall we do this day?" Very, very articulate, coming right out of the gate, as it were.
I wanted to break down Kant's existentialism and how it relates to Christianity and the faith.
Okay,
Not now, Greta. I'm watching baseball.
really. So that's what's going to happen. You come back from your whirlwind summer-long trip in Europe. You're going to become more involved in baseball.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that'll be a part of it. Now, first of all, not summer long, just 1 month, but it'll be a great month. And so, but you know where we're going to?
Um,
So, well, when I'm in Germany, we're going back to close to Eberbach, which is the monastery where the Name of the Rose was filmed. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
I did. I've been there. I was there with you, actually. Um,
so yeah, we're gonna be doing a bunch of cool stuff, and in Italy with my family, and then in Germany with my very fabulous host family and the kiddos and what have you for the last time, and hopefully it's not the last time in Germany, but maybe the last time. It is the last time in this role. So
yeah. Now my microphone did the same thing it did before. Everything turned black, and now I don't see the little line moving. And didn't that mess up our sound last time? Do you recall?
I don't think so. No, I think we're fine.
Okay, keep going then. I don't have that much more to say anyway. I'm um,
All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
yes,
It's another fine episode of the old school.
that's right. Um, well, we've already established that you're not going to be attending any parties. You're skipping out of town before they recognize the retiring faculty. You're not attending graduation, even in spirit. You're just going to be spirited away on a plane somewhere, and it's going to be pretty abrupt, don't you think? You're just
It's
going to
good.
be one place, and then you're in transit to another.
It's going to be incredibly abrupt because the last day that the kids are in school is on the 25th, and on the 26th, which traditionally is a teacher day to kind of wrap things up grade wise, turn everything in, I will be on a plane to Geneva. So I think it's going to be a quick thing. And I think I want to say something though about because I've gotten some very strange reactions. One to the notion of not being there on the day. That last teacher day is the day where they fet all the rounder anniversaries for the teachers or the retirees. There was also something that the district that I work in put together at the district level, and
Oh,
I didn't go to that either.
wait a minute. You didn't?
Huh?
Something the district put together and you did not go.
I didn't go, but I also want to make it clear because I think some people maybe take it the wrong way. It's not that I don't care about it or that I don't care about the effort that people put into doing this sort of thing. It's just not something I feel terribly comfortable with. And so because of that, I find myself much happier to skip the whole damn thing and just go about my day and let everyone go about theirs. So
Well, when you're in Germany, there will probably be a cake involved. Is that the case?
well, there's always cake involved. It's the
Yeah.
German tradition of having a cake on standby at any given notice and coffee when you go to visit somebody. So I imagine it's possible that a cake might be in the works, but
Yeah. What is it about the cake in Germany? They do happen to have one on hand all the time.
I think I think they shop for it. It's like a weekly thing, and they just they'll keep they'll keep a cake as long as it's good. Then they'll eat it, and then they'll buy another one just in case someone drops by. And I was listening to this comedian. I can't say his name correct. His first name is Sebastian, some Italian name that I'm sure I would butcher. But he talked about the idea that when we were kids, the unannounced, unplanned for, really uninvited guest was more or less a common occurrence, and it wasn't considered an intrusion. But and so you would always be in kind of this state of preparation to have people over because sometimes people came over. But now, like there's a knock on the door, people are hiding behind the couch. It's like you're turning off your porch lights on Halloween to keep the kids from asking candy. It's that same kind of dynamic. And so we just don't have it anymore. But in Germany, it's still alive and well. I can't tell you how many times, and I know you can recount countless times where you and your colleague, your German colleague, would take out. Yeah, I would just pop in to visit somebody, and mom would come out with a cake that was always delicious, and a cup of coffee, which was always remarkable, and a good time was had by all.
Yeah. Yeah. What happened to all that? I'm upset by it because I wouldn't even come to your house. Just
I
not
know.
show up. You'd look at me askance, probably.
What
But
are you doing here?
why didn't you text? I mean, even a phone call out of the blue. We're two of the few people who still do that.
It's been known to happen, sure.
But it's known as being creepy to kids, younger folk. If somebody just calls, unless somebody's died, you don't just call somebody. It's not part of their way of being.
Well, that's the way I roll, and that's what's going to happen. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think I can imagine being more open to guests because I'll have more time to be more open to guests.
Oh, good.
So, and as you know, even though you're kind of playing it off here a little bit ago, mi casa su casa. You're
Yeah.
part of the family. You come over anytime you want to come over. But
It goes the same for you too, Herr Miller. This is
glad we got this on the record, as it were. So,
no, I'm excited about this now. But we do need to talk about the future of our podcast because suddenly you're as much a has-been as I am.
maybe more so.
Well, maybe. I mean, I stayed in the school business until 4 years ago, but I didn't. Last time I saw a student in front of me was, I think it must have been 2013. That's a ways back. And so we'll be talking about, I remember in my day.
We'll
So
become like those two old men on the Muppet Show. It's what was there? Two old guys that are sitting in the balcony.
yeah, it comes to mind a lot. I don't remember their names, but you bring it up a lot. You seem to like them.
No,
Um,
I do like it. What's
well, they remind me of you, both of them, not me.
Statler and
You're
it's a
not going to remember.
hotel.
You're too old.
Waldorf. Statler and Waldorf was the
I
two
don't
guys'
believe you.
names. No, I'm serious. So
Well,
that could be me. That could be us.
but I think we need to mix things up here a little bit because unless we just talk about current events,
I
and
don't want to do that.
yeah, it's sort of dull. So we'll probably bring on more guests, I imagine, do more interviews.
Maybe an elementary school teacher.
Yeah, right. We should do a whole series of shows with elementary teachers, and you can make it happen by somehow you're the one who asks, and they never come on the show.
Maybe you should ask them. Maybe that's the sign.
They would immediately. Um,
I
they
think
would
about the idea of maybe mixing in some culture,
culture.
mixing in, things like music, things like food, still talk about education on a regular basis. I don't think we want to move too far from that. That's a bit of our bread and butter. But I think that there's a lot of other things that both you and I have interest in. And it would be fun to kind of broaden what this might look like. And this could be a step going towards maybe making this thing a bit bigger than it is.
Well, I'm thinking that bread and butter. That's we could be in restaurants talking. I know we wouldn't be the first to do that. We could be in our travels. I mean, I think our travel programs were the highest rated we ever did when we were screaming through Italy, for example.
That damn beep of that car every time we cross over the line. So
yeah, that was exciting. But more of that, maybe. More guests, more from the restaurant. Yeah, and who knows what you're going to be doing? You could be traveling as part of your retirement a lot more than you are now,
could
and so
be.
we could have a remote Mr. Miller out there.
We've done that before. I think you've called in from faraway lands. I too have called in from foreign ports of call, as it were. So
I like that. So not to worry. We'll continue the content's bound to get better because we're starting to rehash. Well, we started about 2 years ago rehashing.
I think the second episode. It was
yeah. Just remember what we said last week. Well, we're going to say it again right now.
If you thought it was great last week, wait till you hear it this week.
Yeah.
But I think I do think the strength of, we got into doing the podcast because we wanted a medium through which to discuss elements of education,
right?
Because that was our initial interest. But I think what makes us interesting personally is that we have a lot of interest, and I love talking to people. I love learning from people. So I think it'd be fun to try to get other people on the podcast to be able to talk about their interests. I don't think it's going to become, I think it'll still have a certain, it won't be completely frivolous. I think there will still be opportunities to learn something, because I think if you can't learn something, what's the point of doing it? But at the same time, I think we have a lot of fun talking on a bunch of different levels. So either over a table or, at a ball game or on the road in a car or a whole host of things.
In a bar, for example, a watering hole.
For example.
Why not? We could interview the bartender. That would be fun.
With Leonard Skinner playing in the background. So who knows?
So we'll probably record one more of these before you leave, don't you think? Next week.
You mean about the idea of retirement?
Well, before you're actually done. I mean, or is this the last technical one? Well,
no, we'll do one more. We'll have one more episode, but
okay. Well, we can
talk about summer vacation again. But I want to say one thing about, and I think I briefly mentioned it last time, but there is one thing that I find myself constantly having to set the record straight over, and that is the idea of why I'm retiring. Now, I think a lot of people have jumped on um, this great exodus as I follow in my ancestors' footsteps. But this great exodus from schools and retirement, and I think people look at me and they hear me talking about retirement, and they are making assumptions as to why I'm leaving. And I will tell you now, the reason why I'm leaving has nothing to do with COVID. It has nothing to do with the remnants of COVID. It has nothing to do with national politics. It has nothing to do with local politics. It has nothing to do with the demands of the job. Um, there's a, I think there's just a lot of people who want to kind of fit retirement and the people that retire into like these certain envelopes. And for sure, there are some people who do fit in those envelopes. There are some friends of mine who are retiring who are doing it because, whatever, all the other things I just mentioned. But for me, I think, not to get too serious about this, but I think part of it has to do with the fact that I have an 8-year-old daughter who, in a good week, I don't see very often. And one, I'd like to see her more. And this isn't a thing where like the college coach who announces he's going to retire because he wants to spend more time with his family and then takes another gig like 2 months later where he sees them even less. It's not one of those things. But, I feel like I'm missing out on some stuff with my kid. And I don't want to miss out on stuff anymore. And so if I can hang out at the house and periodically do some work here and there to earn a few, bobs and what have you, then to me, that's great. Um, I just don't want, my life to be about work. I want my life to be about hanging out with my family. And if I have the means by which to do that, then, well, here I am.
Well, thank you, Herr Miller, I know I was wondering. I thought you were upset with the world of education.
I may
But
be, but that's not why I'm
well,
here.
yeah, that's the thing. It's not an either or. But there's also a feeling you probably have where you're not as excited as you were maybe a year ago to make that drive in. Um, there must be a little bit of that also. I mean, because if you do the job properly, it should wear you out. And if you do
It
it for
does.
25 odd years, it should really wear you out. Um, you told me, I think, at some point about the idea of a farmer or some gentleman out there who decides to teach for a year or two.
Nothing
Um,
like being outside, being around animals.
yeah, but
Nothing
then
like digging into the earth.
that's right. But then they decide they agree to teach, so they go take a teaching position for a year or so, and they go back to the farm,
Mm.
and that sort of the ideal of not
If
having to do it for 30 straight years. But you do your little bit of time, it's enjoyable, you're happy, and then you go back to the farm.
what's
But
other things to do?
yeah, but you've been away from the farm for 25 years.
27 years.
Oh my gosh, 27? Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just old, is what that adds
If
up
you
to.
add the military, it's like 31 years I've been away from the farm. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, but I also think it's just about wanting to spend time and being in a position where I can spend time doing things that I more want to do than I have to do. And someone said that it's only work when you'd rather be doing something else. And that's what it is. So,
I like
so there
that.
you go.
I'm glad you clarified that.
I'm glad I
Um,
could be here to clarify it. So,
well, I almost believe you. Even.
yeah, I appreciate it. So, anyway, so we'll probably touch on this a little bit on the next class, but we're also going to next episode. But I think we're also there's a Freudian slip for you. So, but
Yeah.
I think I think the next couple episodes might be maybe the first tentative steps to see what this would look like and what it could be as we start to maybe approach a change in how we do things. And so, Who knows? It could be, we could be reaching whole new levels as we attempt to try to take this show on the road and may tap into that great stardom in the sky. So
Um, so are we looking forward to remote broadcasts with you in Italy and Germany? Because you'll have a smartphone. I know you have one, and you can do Zoom from a smartphone, by the
you
way.
can?
Yeah, yeah. You just have to have your wife help you download the app. And once you have that app, you just talk into your phone like we're doing now.
Well, wait a second. On those apps, they can track you, you know.
That's not what
They
I'm
know where
talking
you
about.
are.
I'm talking about doing the podcast remotely and taking into account the time change, of course.
Of course.
But it might be fun. You know, you sitting outside sipping coffee and doing your podcast. I mean, we have a month. That's a long time.
We do have a month. However, I may also be confronted with having much more interesting experiences ahead of me. But that said,
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea because, you know, when I'm winding down for the day, you might be in a position to step away from your very hectic schedule. I'm sure we can make this work.
Well, let's talk offline because you could also do some little audio clips and send them my way, and I could patch it together. Um, Either way, we'll come up with something clever. Why wouldn't we?
I tell you what, I tell you one thing we should do, because I'm going to be in Florence on the 2nd and 3rd of June, I think. Do you remember the story about a woman, a principal, who got canned because she showed the statue of David to her kiddos? It's a skip it. It's just, but anyway, it would be fun to do a podcast from in front of David, or at least do like a little audio thing in front of David saying, "Yeah, I mean, there it is." I mean, I don't know what she was thinking, or, but I don't know. God bless it. What's wrong? It's art, for God's sakes.
I mean, I'm with you. You're preaching to the choir here, Miller.
Well, anyway.
But, yeah. Well, there it is. So we'll have one more before you take your trip, and then we'll see if we can do something to keep the ball rolling.
Keep the ball rolling, and maybe take it someplace it's never been. You never know. So
yeah, just throw out some metaphors. Any others you have? Let her rip. This is the time.
This is the time. Okay, very good. All right. Well, with that, as we close things out metaphorically and in reality, we will see y'all next time around as I get ready to jump on a plane, and ensuing episodes, perhaps live from Europe. Europe as you've never heard it before.
Oh my. Thank you, Herr Miller. This was fun, and that will be just as fun, I'm sure.
Very good. And adieu, Herr Dr. Bourgeois.
Is arrivederci? I can't even say it. Arrivederci? Is that the proper Italian?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Arrivederci. Arrivederci al prossimo.
Oh, you're just
Until
showing
next
off.
time. Okay.
All righty. Goodbye now.
See ya.